Hello, my name is Tim Taylor. I live in Edinburgh, Scotland, and I've been working in artificial life for about 30 years. So I've been given a few questions to answer. Let's get into those. First question: what sparked your interest in artificial life research, and how did you get started in this field? Well, I did my undergraduate degree in experimental psychology, so the study of intelligent behavior in humans and other animals. And after that, I'd always been interested in computers, and I was interested in trying to recreate intelligent behavior in computers. So I went to Edinburgh after my degree to do a master's in artificial intelligence. And it was whilst I was doing that course that I came across a subject called genetic algorithms. Now, that is the a biologically inspired approach to optimization and solving problems. And the nice thing about that is that you can solve problems where you have very little idea what the solution should even look like. You can basically just start off with random guesses at answers, solutions to your problem. And what the genetic algorithm does is picks out the best ones. They might not be very good, but they might be better than the others, and use those to breed a new population of solutions. And it might introduce mutation, crossover, and various other principles copied from biological evolution. And believe it or not, that system actually generally works quite well at solving problems. So I was very interested in that biologically inspired approach to AI. And looking into that, I came across this field called artificial life, which is very much having that idea of biological inspiration at its very core. So I was then lucky enough a couple of years later to be able to start a PhD in that area. So the second question is, can you explain one of the most exciting and surprising findings in the field of artificial life in a way that a beginner could understand? Well, yes, I can. It's actually a negative finding. So I went on to do my PhD, and what I was doing there was studying a system of computer programs living in a sort of computational environment. And the programs were making copies of themselves. So a single one would figure out where it started and ended in memory, and then copy itself one instruction at a time to another part of memory. And there would be mutations introduced. So these things would mutate and evolve. And you saw various interesting evolutionary phenomena occurring. But after a time, everything just settled down to a kind of stable point beyond which you wouldn't see any interesting further evolution happening. And that is actually a common finding for nearly every attempt to simulate the basic ingredients of Darwinian evolution. So self-reproduction, inherited characteristics and mutation, and selection. We tend to think that biological evolution is a fairly well understood subject. But when you take these simple ingredients and put it into a computational simulation, you don't find this ongoing creativity for billions of years, resulting in more and more complex organisms, more and more sophisticated adaptations. What you generally get, as I said, and as I found myself, was things just get a little bit of interesting stuff at the start, but then everything settles down. So this links to the third question, which is, what is one big unanswered question in artificial life that you think could be important in the future? And that is to solve exactly that question. What would it take to build a computational system, or it could be hardware, robotics, or it could be instantiated in chemicals, wetware? What would be the design criteria for that to enable it to continue to evolve more and more complex, more and more sophisticated adaptations, virtually unlimited? So the longer you ran it, the more and more innovations you would see, because we don't really understand how to do that yet. The reason I think that's exciting is because it requires pulling in more and more knowledge from the wider fields of theoretical biology, theoretical ecology, also philosophy, and also it forces us to ask questions as computational scientists, artificial life researchers, that you don't have to answer in theoretical biology. And those are mostly about the nature of the environment and the laws of physics of the universe. So those things you can safely take for granted in real biology. But in artificial life, you have to ask questions: what kind of physics, what kind of environment, what is the relationship between the environment and the organism? And you have to have good principled answers to those questions to enable you to hope to make some progress towards this question of ongoing open-ended evolution. Okay, thank you. And I hope you have lots of fun at the conference and good luck with your growing careers. Thank you.